You ever wonder what is the truth?
Three things cannot be long hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth.
And the truth shall set you free!
All right, guys, another episode of Point Blank Truth Podcast. Thank you for sticking with us today. Across from me is the one and only Cole Mann. Cole, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
You know, this is the 9/9 board meeting that we're going to talk about. We took a break off after what happened with Charlie Kirk, and then I dropped the August meeting, and then the Marine Rapper episode, and then so this one. So this is going to come out not this week, but next week.
Cool.
Just so you know. For those of you that are listening, I don't think there's another board meeting before then, but yeah, 9/9. This was an interesting meeting, Cole. I don't know. I'm looking at the agenda, and it was a packed house. There were a lot of, people who don't live in Temecula. I think there were a handful of people who came to speak, and I don't know. What was your first thoughts about it when you went back and watched it?
I guess my first thoughts would be it was really damage control for part of the meeting and kind of retracting some things and then being more willing to work with the other side, even though they're all conservatives. So it just felt like damage control.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. Yeah, they opened the meeting, and then it almost feels like Melinda Anderson always wants to make sure she can preload her position first. That's what it always seems like to me.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, it's
especially these last couple of months.
Yeah, I mean, we spent the first 45 minutes fixing the agenda and arguing and disputing, and it was like silliness. One of the first things that she brought up was is it the Pacific Justice Institute?
Yes.
Is that right?
That bothered me as well, because it's interesting how either the information was finally being shared or it was barely actually being looked into fully, because it tied into the whole, we already have the privacy notice, we don't need to have a policy in place.
Right.
With how it's no longer compliant. She's saying she has one rep telling her that. Wiersma saying, I was never told that. I was told that it was absolutely still valid and you were able to use it, so it's still compliant. So I don't know if it's like a whole gatekeeping thing or if there's different people at the same place that have provided the document that are misinformed. It still doesn't make sense because they both got different answers. So Who's right, who's telling the truth, or maybe they both are, and PJI needs to get it figured out. I have no idea.
Right, and I think we do need to sort that out. And I just want the listeners to know, if you go back and watch that meeting, they started arguing about it, and it was like, first of all, bringing that up was completely pointless. And here's why, is because it wasn't agendized.
Right.
And if you go back and watch the meetings, Jen Wiersma wasn't saying, we should take this and just use it.
No, it was just like a template,
Yeah, she was like, this is already legal. This is already being used.
Right.
So we should come up with something like this for our district.
Right.
And I made a post explaining that, here we go. We can use this right now. And so when I saw that argument happening, I went up to Brian Pastor, who's the director of security for the district, and I printed out 5 copies of the email that I got from PJI, because after the August meeting, I called them because I went on their website and I tried to get access to the documents, and you couldn't get access from the website. So I called them and I said, hey, I made it seem like it was a document that I want to use at my school.
Right.
I'm just trying to get access to the document so I can use it. And they said, we'll get back to you, give us your contact information. And I got an email sent to me from the operations department of the Pacific Justice Institute with the California document and the every other state document, the same document, just specific to California and
Right.
everything else. And it says in the email, like, feel free to use this how you need to. And that was on August 28th, I think it was.
So right after the last.
Yeah,
board meeting.
right after the last board meeting. I mean, it's 10
Within days,
10
2
days.
days,
Yeah,
yeah.
10 days before this one.
Right.
And Melinda's standing up there saying, like, oh, they don't even recommend that this is used anymore. It's like, well, 10 days ago, their operations department sent it to me to use it in that way.
Right.
So I went up to Brian Passer, like, hey, can you give this to Jen? And he goes, I can't. I have to give it to Melinda. I said, okay, that's fine. And he goes, oh, and I have to wait until a break. So then they got into their little argument, and then they went in a break.
Right.
And again, and I'm pretty sure this is before we even did the Pledge of Allegiance. This is like
Right.
before the meeting even.
Because it was
like,
that long.
Yeah, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. And then he gives it to Dr. Anderson. He's like, I gave it to her. I'm like, okay, cool. And then me and Dr. K lock eyes, and he's my representative. So
Right,
we're
he's your
still
trustee,
we're still
yeah.
in the break. So I go up and I give him his copy. And then I was kind of scolded about it, which kind of threw me off and I know look, I don't think it was like a personal thing with Brian. I think maybe there is some sort of process there, protocol they're trying to have. But again, like,
Announce that so we know.
exactly, you can't just blanket that on me. I'm a constituent.
Well, not
It's
just that.
yeah.
It was a break.
Yeah.
Trustees go into the audience to talk to
Right.
their constituents all the
Yeah,
time. So I don't
exactly.
see the issue with that.
Yeah. So and also it wasn't me being sneaky.
No,
I
you had
have-
already discussed
I have
it with him
5
prior.
copies. Yeah,
Yeah.
And I have 5 copies
everybody, yeah.
All right, you have to give it to Melinda. That's Melinda's copy. You know,
Right.
that's the way I looked at it.
Right.
And then Melinda came out and like didn't even bring it up anymore. And it's like, you just got the paperwork. You just got the document. As the president, maybe you don't like that, maybe you're wrong, but that is something that you should address.
Disclose it.
Yeah, somebody from the audience just presented this to you, and you think you're going to like, nah, we don't need to talk about it. It's just weird. It's weird. It's super gatekeepy. It's unprofessional. And like, bringing that up was unnecessary, period. The only point to bring that up would be to just try to discredit Jen.
And I'm really tired of the personal, what's the word? Just the personal baggage that continues to be brought onto the dais. I understand there's certain things with the Brown Act where they can't just talk to each other about certain things. But when you have like a personal gripe, I feel like that isn't violating the Brown Act. That's just two people talking to each other, saying, "Hey, I personally just don't like working with you. Here's the reasons why. Can we find a way to just interact respectfully and just let the past be the past?" I'm not sure why that's so difficult to do, but when it comes to the picking and choosing of transparency, I have an issue with that. I expect it across the board. Whether it's something that a trustee or the board president likes or dislikes is irrelevant. The constituents need to be aware of what's going on. They should just be letting us know. If a constituent is trying to give more information on a topic we were just discussing for however long, let the public know, let the public decide. Isn't that what this is all about?
Right.
We getting all the information and then us making an educated decision or an informed decision based off of that, because that was new information we didn't hear any other time before since May. So we've got all those months in between where they could have found all this out. And then, like I said, it's this personal gripe of, okay, well, now I'm going to discredit you. So then who's right and who's wrong? Because now the constituents are still not informed.
Yeah.
Is it a compliant document or is it not?
Right.
We're well aware that it is, because
Right.
why would another department from the same place that's legally held to a standard to provide a form like that
Right.
said you could use it as you saw fit?
And
So-
and also, like, if you think about it, like, if I'm a parent in the district and I present a school principal with that form and say, you have to accommodate my daughter, like, you do have to accommodate my
It's the
daughter.
law.
I don't care what you think
Since we're,
about
upholding the law.
I don't care what you think about that form.
Correct.
If you want to type something up that we can agree on, then that works too.
Right.
But again, it is a legal document that has been used, that can be used, and it's like, what sort of legal trouble should I expect? You're saying that if I bring this, like, and that was another thing that I was confused about. Like, what was Melinda's point? Is Melinda's point that if me as a parent, I bring this document up and go, hey, principal, please accommodate my child,
Mm-hmm.
that you're going to sue me, that the district is going to sue me for wanting my child accommodated and using this form.
Which
Like,
they couldn't do anyways, because you
exactly.
can write your own letter on your own letterhead and
And-
submit it as an official document on the kids' records anyways.
Right. So that, and again, this just ties back into like her goal on the dais is no longer seems like to represent the community. It is more focused on making Jen Wiersma look bad.
and damage control and whatever else. It's like people have already made up their minds about all the trustees and how they work together and don't work together. You're not going to change anyone's minds anymore, and that shouldn't even be the focus. People have decided how they feel about the board president and all the trustees, and you need to just let that go and move on. Just get the job done. And right now, it's just that's not happening even still. Sure, things are getting passed either unanimously or what have you, but we keep bringing up things that put us in the newspaper and viral on social media. It's getting old. We're getting all of this attention for all the wrong things and still no resolutions. Obviously, the meeting did result in having something where they claimed it was a Band-Aid until, the law changes. Fine, fair enough. But again, to your point in previous episodes, but also online, why didn't we just address this fully and cohesively in May when it was brought to their attention? Because again, the messenger.
Right.
We have to get away from that. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who is presenting
Right.
the information, just get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it seems like up there at this point is like, if Mrs. Wiersma and Dr. Komorowski bring forward an idea that's good, solid, meets the needs of the community, people would get behind. It seems like the other three board members will just oppose it at all cost. You know what I mean?
And
like,
unfortunately, it's been months of that.
well,
so there's
this
no
is
way
this
to,
right here.
Yes.
This meeting is a perfect example of
Yeah.
that, because this was something that was brought forward in May
Mm-hmm.
and should have been addressed in May, and it didn't get addressed until September.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, look at how our community has been crapped on online, social media, and then we had, because it was an issue that was up in the air, we had a trans student that decided, you know what, I'm not going to change in the nurse's office anymore. I'm going in my locker room. And then we had walkouts and protests, and now regular parents who just want to protect the privacy of our daughters are being labeled as bigots, hateful. And again, this is a direct result of poor leadership on our school board. That's my opinion on it. I mean, I don't know how else to look at it.
There is no other way to look at it at this point. Because again, had we just done our due diligence, and by us I mean the board, on our behalf, in May, all of this would have been avoided. All of it. The culture war, the going viral, the other vendettas in between all of that, the international spotlight that we talked about in the last episode. Like, what are we even talking about anymore?
Yeah.
We're getting attention for all the wrong reasons, just like we did with the old board. It's just a repeat, but on a bigger scale.
Right.
That's not what we voted for.
No, it's not what we voted for. And you know what? And like the thing that really frustrates me about like this board is that like a lot of people, even the people who oppose Dr. Anderson and opposed Emil Barham, the whole community assumed that Dr. Anderson and Emil Barham would be working better with Jen
We all
Wiersma
did.
and Dr. K.
Yep.
Everyone did.
Yep.
So not only was the community lied to in that way and manipulated in that way, now it's creating more chaos than we've had.
Yeah. And like we've said in the past, and I have said, I don't think that was the initial intention. I still want to give the benefit of the doubt. However, we're in September. We've seen how everything's played out, where it's leaned, where it hasn't. And unfortunately, that's what it's starting to look like. And it's unfortunate. And I've said this in previous episodes. I would rather just have a brand new board because I'm so tired of it.
Yeah, I mean, my big thing, like with the conservatives during the whole like election cycle, I was like, hey, I know we don't like Schwartz, but we got to make sure that he don't it's not a good idea to just make him irrelevant, to just disregard
He's representing
him.
a part of the community.
So like it's funny how like I like postured on that,
Right.
and then all of a sudden now it's Dr. Komorowski and Jen Wiersma who are being treated that way, and it's just
Right.
like, God, dude, I am against treating board members like that. You're elected, you're in the seat, you represent your constituents, and you have to. You don't have to like the person, but you
that's
gotta
fine.
respect the position that they hold. And there's too much personal feelings being
Correct.
brought into it.
Leave your feelings
like it.
at the door. When you go and sit on that dais, you are on company time, district time, constituents, taxpayer dollars time. Do the job. Leave it at the door.
And you know, and then 45 minutes before the meeting even gets started, they're already at each other's necks.
And we're still talking about it because it took that long.
Yeah, it took that long. We're still talking about it here, and and then at the end, Melinda Anderson wanted to cut public comment again. You know, it's funny is like if you look at the agenda, it's open session, attendance, pledge of allegiance. Then Melinda Anderson gets board president comment, 3 minutes. That's how she sets the agenda.
Then your constituents should get their 3 minutes.
We should go right after her or even before her, but she doesn't care to hear from us. She puts it at the end. She wastes a bunch of time in the beginning. Then like they were going through the agenda and like, do we want to leave that or do we want to? That should all be sorted out before the community is sitting in the room, lady.
And I think that that's what I was saying. We're picking and choosing when to be transparent, when to include the community, when not to. Pick one and just stay there.
Yeah, and then even if you watch the meeting, they bounce around. They like went from like
'cause they were like R1, R2, R4 at the beginning, then moving and switching like, N5 with O2, and
this is already like in
well,
order.
And
like just go through it and get. And it's just I don't know. It's what a joke. That's what it just seems like to me. It's a joke, and it's And then I do want to know, I gave a public comment on this day about it. I do want to see the exact fee it's costing us for Melinda Anderson to have a freaking attorney sitting there next to her.
Yeah.
What the hell is
about?
that?
Yeah, I don't understand it.
This is
Is it because she doesn't feel confident in doing the job anymore and needs to constantly have a babysitter, which is kind of ironic because we've talked about that in the past too for that position they were trying to fill. And it's like, you guys should be able to just follow Robert's rules of order.
Yeah.
You're the president. But you control this whole thing.
And I think this is, again, a lack of transparency. Something is going on legally.
There has to be.
That is making Melinda
Why would he be there?
Need an attorney next to her during...
because it's been different ones.
Yeah. Well, the first time it was one attorney, and then we had another attorney on the screen, Marco, and then I think it was Marco in there this time. Yeah, DeMarco.
That's right. He came in physically in place of the other guy.
Yeah, but again, that is costing our district money. Where's the outrage for that? Where is the left on that?
Fiscal responsibility, again, picking and choosing.
Yeah, again, where's the one Temecula PAC people talking about how that's wasting our district's money?
I'm surprised by that, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Did anyone mention it in the comments? Maybe. I think a couple of people might have. And said, "Hey, what's the attorney here for? How much are we paying for that?"
I definitely did.
For sure.
So yeah, and I'm serious. My comments, even though I kind of went at Melinda with my comment, I'm dead serious.
She's the board president.
But again, I want to see what that is, because if you guys pay attention on the agenda, the way they tell you how they're spending money, it's a warrant list. And then the warrant list is so vague. It's so vague, and it's like a month or 2 months combined in one. So no. I want to see this being itemized. I want to know what it's costing our district to have an attorney here for 5 hours because you can't conduct yourself with honesty and transparency. I want to know why it's like that.
And I don't even know if it's for that. It may just be, I don't want anyone saying I violated the Brown Act or I said something out of step and now we can be sued for that. It's like, if you're not aware of what you can and cannot say as the board president, maybe you shouldn't be the board president anymore so we don't lose money paying for a lawyer to tell you how to do your job.
But again, can you imagine what it would have looked like
Oh
if
my
Dr.
gosh,
Komorowski
yeah.
was doing that?
Oh,
all the
outrage.
chaos he went through. Imagine if he had one of the attorneys sitting there.
Yes.
They would be pissed.
They'd be eating him alive.
But now they act like he's not even there.
Yeah.
And then they go up and join in on the gen bashing. You know what I mean? It's
I'm
just
tired
crazy.
of that too. I don't care who it is. You guys need to leave that crap at the door already. It's childish.
All right. So looking at this, amend board policy, rescind exhibits. All right. Let's talk about this a little bit because this has also been there were news articles
Correct.
that were put out saying that like, oh no, it was never policy.
Yes, it was.
It was 100% policy. I don't understand. Like, I've played it. You know what? Let's play it again. Let's play that lady talking from June.
Mary Davis?
Not Mary Davis.
Who was
The lady who was saying, thank you. I was one of the first parents that filled this
Oh,
document
yes,
out.
the woman that
Was
filled it out and
June?
turned
That was
it
in
in.
June? I think, was that the June meeting or the May meeting?
I
think it might
thought
have
it
been
was
the May.
July because it passed and then that's when all the chaos started in July. I believe it was a July meeting.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mary Bell Williams, and I'm the mother of a rising fifth grader at French Valley Elementary School. I also serve as a court-appointed special advocate and a certified educational surrogate parent for students with IEPs in Riverside County. I'm here tonight to publicly thank this board and especially Dr. Anderson for adopting a new religious and mental health accommodation policy that protects students' privacy in shared spaces, bathrooms, locker rooms. I was one of the first parents to complete and submit both forms on behalf of my own child.
So that lady literally claimed to
Filled it
fill
out
out the
and turned
document
it into the
and
school.
turned it in. And if that wasn't true, or if that wasn't something that she legally could have done, Emil and Melinda should have and could have corrected the record, said something. And now it's like they're moving and giving quotes in news articles as if that lady never went up and spoke. So,
Which is insane.
yeah, I mean, it's like either that lady is lying, which is
Right.
not, I don't
No.
think it's very
There's no
likely,
way. Yeah.
or you just don't want to own it that you did give this to us to use and you did want us to use it right after it passed in May.
Yes, and I think maybe they may argue with a technicality of it was still pending with legal for the verbiage. However, a parent can technically, if I'm not mistaken, turn in any kind of letter or request to their school site, regardless of what the document is. Obviously, if something were to happen, it may not hold up if it's not something that holds up in court or with ed code, right? So again, if they were made available to us, which they were, with the disclosure that they were pending and legal, I believe the parent filled it out and turned it into the school. Whether they want to say that happened or not, everybody saw and heard and know that that happened.
Well, and here's
and it did pass because it happened in a previous meeting, and you can go back and look.
And here's another piece of it that I want to point out is that when the school year started, Melanie and I went into it thinking that this was policy.
I think we all
Right?
did.
And
yeah.
and we got the syllabus from Temecula Valley High School's PE class. It said nothing about it, and we had to sign the syllabus. So like right away, I'm like, that's a little weird. We got this new policy. They want me to sign this syllabus, but there's nothing in it. Like, what if my daughter's an accommodated student? Like, explain to me what that's going to look like. Like, what's going on with that? And then we reached out to Emil Barham. My wife reached out to Emil, and Emil refused to talk. First of all, Emil was like, "Which parental rights policy? There's a lot of them." Like he was like acting like he didn't know what we were
hello,
talking
the
about.
most recent one.
Right. So then like we specifically said it, and then Emil was like, "Oh, you need to speak. Given the scenario, you need to speak to your trustee representative." So it's like he didn't even want to deal with it, and it's not like we were trying to fuck with him or anything.
Right. He was the one that
wanted
yes.
us to celebrate this. So we're
Yeah.
just trying to get the information.
Well, your trustee wasn't a part of it, so
Yeah.
why would you go to somebody that doesn't have the knowledge on it?
And that's the other frustrating part is like when Never mind. I don't even want to go there. I knew that Dr. K didn't know anything really about this policy or the waiver.
He only knew
'cause
what everyone else knew.
Yeah, he wasn't in on this,
Right.
and they gate kept it from him. So then when we have questions, we're asking, and we have the emails with Dr. Woods, and we're just asking. And what we were told is that they're still working on the verbiage of those documents.
Which is fair.
Right.
But again, to our previous points and previous episodes regarding these types of issues, how is this being executed across 29 school sites or wherever it's applicable?
Right.
Each school site has their own way of doing things. So how are the Board of Trustees and the district admin requesting that school sites handle this? Or
Right.
are they? Like, what is that process?
Right. And that's essentially what we were looking for.
Right.
And at no point did anybody tell my wife in an email, we're talking about Dr. Woods, Dr. Komrosky, and Emil Barham. At no point did anybody go, that's not even policy yet. Don't worry about it. Those documents haven't been implemented yet. So don't worry about it. At no point did anybody say that.
And they could have.
Yeah, they
And that
could
would have saved from all the mess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, that just proves the point is this policy was in effect. The exhibits were accessible to the public to fill out and give to your individual sites. Just when Melanie and I went to look, they weren't anymore because somebody filled them out and they celebrated it in public comment.
Right.
And so like a lot of people were like, oh, you shouldn't be rescinding anything. Nothing. That's not true. It did pass.
And they do have to rescind it.
They have to
it's
rescind
policy.
it. Yeah. So I don't know. It's there was a lot of comments to that. A lot of people went up there and spoke.
Don't gaslight the public.
Yeah.
If you're going to take any advice from anything we're talking about, don't gaslight the public. That's never a good look. We've said before, the internet is forever.
Right.
And there's folks that were there in person that heard it pass.
Yeah. So what happened at this meeting is that they rescinded those exhibits. They rescinded that policy. And then now they're looking to then they passed a policy that was basically adopt board policy and administrative regulation 5145.35 privacy accommodation and related form. So basically everybody has a right to privacy and our policy says that anybody that requests a right to privacy document should be filled out. It's no longer tied to mental health. It's no longer tied to religious belief.
Correct.
It's just a blanket right to privacy, which is how it should have gone in the beginning.
Correct.
Another thing that really pissed me off was when the young middle school girls went up to speak to this, a bunch of people like Jen Reeves, Jen St. Nicholas, is that her name?
Jessica? Is it Jessica St. Nicholas?
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
She's the thicker lady with the glasses and like the orange hair. And Christine Massa, a bunch of people on that side didn't clap at all. And it's like, Jesus, you're disgusting, dude. And again, it's like, it just shows,
children.
They're kids. They're kids.
They're not adults you can't stand. They're children.
These are the same people standing outside their school, calling all of their parents hateful and bigoted. And then now these young girls are coming up to speak to how they feel, and you can't even applaud and respect their strength to go up there and use their freedom of speech. And again, dude, this meeting happened before this recent assassination. And
Correct.
I think it just all ties into the state of our country and how disgusting some people are. They identify completely with their political beliefs and they just can't escape that bubble.
No.
It's
That
disgusting.
identity,
It's gross.
Losing their
It's
humanity
gross.
and their civility.
Yeah. And I gave a public comment to that about how these people over here did not clap. And that's disgusting. And there was one lady that was sitting there and she was like, I did clap. And if you watch the video, you could see where like she like stopped me.
I think
and,
I heard something in the background.
Yeah. And I haven't watched it, but somebody was like, what were those weirdos saying to you? Like somebody texted me. So I assumed it was like,
No, you
can
could
see
hear
it.
some in the background.
Okay. Yeah. So like, I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. But you didn't correct anybody around you though. You know what I mean? Like these are still your people.
Yeah, I'd be like,
you
hey,
know?
those are just kids.
Hey, those are
it's
kids.
Okay
Maybe
to
we
clap
should clap.
that they spoke and were brave to do that. You don't have to agree with what they said.
Yeah, exactly. You know, police your own.
Yeah.
Police your own.
That's what it's coming to. We've got to hold each other accountable, even our own people, whatever that means.
Whatever
anymore.
that means. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever that means. So the exhibits got pulled. The policy was changed, and now we're waiting on the right form to fill out.
Right.
So I still think that you can use the Pacific Institute, the Pacific Justice Institute, JPI's forms. In the meantime, I still don't see why that's an issue. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
You know, like we have a right to privacy. We don't have to wait for the board to come out with their form for us to
correct.
Demand our daughters be
As long
respected.
as it falls under the ed code on
Right.
your request, honestly, from my understanding, it doesn't matter how it's drafted. You can write it out if you'd like as a parent and just state the specifics. And if it doesn't violate ed code, they have to honor it.
Right. So, yeah. I just thought all that was so interesting.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that all plays out because I'm still very confused. Is it compliant? Is it not compliant? One person's saying this, one person's saying that. We've got 3 different departments from PJI saying one thing, allegedly, because we don't have any confirmation from PJI themselves that even took place. So that needs to get cleared up. Since you brought it on the dais, you guys need to clear that up.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so then we have Riverside University Health System behavioral health thing, okay? We talked about this the last time we were here. It was on the agenda in August, and we talked about it a little bit. And just so the listeners understand what actually happened with that behavioral health facility, because we didn't really talk about it in depth last time. So the upgrade to the Temecula Valley Hospital was approved, but it will not be a behavioral health facility
Thank goodness.
as of right now.
Right.
I think they went back to their cancer treatment facility, and then it's going to be a big parking structure that they put there. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't change it up.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
that
it's
doesn't
not
mean
set
that
in
they
stone.
can't try to
We're
address
safe
it
for
again.
now.
And and again, this terrifies me.
Yeah.
Because Derek talked about it. How he's like, watch, they're going to put that hospital and then use our school district to kind of keep
As
their
an
beds
excuse.
filled.
Yep.
And yeah, it's concerning. And then in August, it was a 4-1 vote no.
Right.
And then it got put back on the agenda.
Yeah.
In
it's,
September.
Emil wanted to change his vote or something, but then there was something about Dr. K said we might be violating the Brown Act, or that was just to hear comments, I think.
I want to know.
Reconsidering the vote.
I want to know why Emil wanted to change his vote.
Yeah, and he didn't get to speak to it because
No.
they said we can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's frustrating, but also it's good to know that you can't just keep bringing this back. Like,
Yeah.
what bothers me is like it's very clearly like this UHS system obviously.
It's grimy.
Well, yeah, I mean they have access to people who make decisions for us in our community, and obviously they're doing everything and anything they can to try to squeeze their way into our community. And it's like, dude, we said no, we don't want it.
Correct.
So yeah, I don't know. This concerns me. I'm sure we're gonna see it again. The fact that they
sure.
put it back on the agenda.
Yeah.
I'm sure we're gonna see it again with when they start breaking ground and building to expand that hospital.
Find
so
some other proposal to weasel in.
Yeah. Just we'll just do our due diligence and keep our eye on that. But yeah, I mean, look. Here's my point with this behavioral health, because a lot of people are like, oh, don't you care about substance abuse and things like that? And it's like, no, dude, like that's not what this is about.
Right.
That's not what this is about. We don't have these issues in Temecula.
No, we don't. And
We
we spoke
don't,
to that.
you
on the
know?
last it's like, what are we talking about?
Yeah. Yeah, and
This
again,
is too far in the whole preventative measure thing. We can go back to the whole DARE program stuff, which already is another controversial issue. This is just going way too far with it.
this seems like just a way to usurp parental control over the decisions that we
Yeah.
make with our children.
I mean,
like,
it's California.
yeah,
So
and I get it. I mean, I can't speak to everybody. I'm sure
course.
there are some kids in Temecula
course,
that
but it's
deal
probably
with
a
stuff.
small
Yeah, it's a
percentage.
small percentage, and
just like
to-
we have a small percentage of homeless population in Temecula.
right. It's it's like and here's another thing with Emil is he's the one that brought forward the point that how low our math scores are, how low our reading scores are, and it's like, oh, so now you think that we can bring forward an organization that's going to be providing mental health services. How much time in the day do we have here at school?
We don't.
You know what I mean?
though.
It's like,
I don't even know how
is
that would be implemented
Yeah.
or executed at each school site. It makes no sense to me.
I don't know either, and it's very vague, and yeah, I don't like it. This UHS system, I don't like it. And again, they're a for-profit system.
Correct.
And just to clarify, it's not that I have an issue with mental health. It's not.
No.
I am very well versed
We
with the
already
need for
have
mental health.
Resources, Care Solace through the district to provide those services
Right.
if there's issues.
Right.
So
Right.
why
But
do we need more?
But I got to see. I went to the UHS's little debrief to the community, and I saw how dismissive they were, how much they didn't care about our concerns. It's a for-profit organization, and we asked them who's profiting, and their answer was the community. And it's like, you know what we're asking, dude. Like, it's like you are trying to squeeze money out of our community and at our expense.
Correct.
And
Taxpayer
that's-
dollars.
Yeah, and it's just it's
How else
it's
would it be
unacceptable.
funded?
Yeah, it's I think it's unacceptable. I think it's disgusting. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I mean, we'll keep our eye on it. I just think that, hey, most of us in Temecula are working class people. We do what we can. We are all struggling. The economy sucks, but we're working class people. We have health care. If we have issues with our child, there are ways and resources for us as parents to go about that. The school district doesn't need to come in and act like, you know what I mean? Like,
We already have
we'll do it.
counselors and school psychologists and intermediate people in between that and other services
Yeah.
already in schools.
Exactly. So I would ask any board member if they think we need this, then why do we need all that other stuff?
Right.
Then where does all that other stuff that we fund and pay for and support and have, like the counselors and the services in the schools already, where has that failed?
Right.
And maybe we need to get rid of that then, because this just seems like an overreach.
Right.
This seems like extra.
Yes.
And this seems to me that it's going to take away from the focus of our school district, which is education.
Correct.
So, I don't know. Yeah. What else did you have on this meeting? Those were the two big things for me, that the board policy that got rescinded, and then the UHS thing that they didn't even vote on, and we couldn't even hear Emil explain why.
Right. Which, again, we're picking and choosing who can and cannot speak, when they can speak on it. I understand there's certain things we couldn't violate with the Brown Act. I don't have an issue with that. But it's just very interesting to me how transparency is only applicable if it makes somebody look good. It's like, if it was brought back, let's speak to it. But we're violating it. Well, then how can we bring it back? Like,
Yeah.
try to just make sense for us.
Yeah.
Just clear it up.
And it's
so
it's like, who agendized this?
Yeah,
if it can't
I
be
think it was
agen-
him, right?
Yeah, but if it can't be agendized again, then
Right.
why are you wasting our time? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you cut our public comments to 2 minutes.
Correct.
And it's like, yeah, I mean, this thing, it just seems like a bunch of incompetent people, to be honest.
Unfortunately, that's
what
why
our
I said I'd
school board
rather
seems
just
like.
have a new board. I'd rather have 5 new people that have no clue what's going on. They don't know what to do, and they have to figure it out together. I almost feel like they'd be more productive because they'd be helping each other figure it all out,
Yeah.
Let's see. I did appreciate that everyone was able to kind of come to some common ground and consensus on changing verbiage on that policy, with the whole like using segregated, which has a negative connotation. Steve was right about that. And so they were in agreement there. So that was great. Let's see. I think that was it for that one. And then we had just the special meeting.
Yeah. I mean, this meeting was rather long. A lot of people showed up. It was pretty,
And a lot
people
left
were
because
yelling.
they were too tired of waiting. So only
Yeah.
half of the people that were supposed to speak at the end didn't because they weren't there.
Yeah. And our time was still cut.
Yeah, they wouldn't
short
have had
from
the 3 minutes
Yeah.
anyways.
It's it's at a point where like I don't even write my comment. I decide I'm not even gonna write comments anymore because I write for 3 minutes,
Just improvise.
and then I'm in the back having to like, how do I clean it up? And then I'm like talking fast,
which
like,
is
I'm
kind
just gonna-
of inconsiderate too. Because again, I didn't mind moving the comments to the end because we're still allowed to speak. But it's like you should still allow the expected allotted time. I understand they just have to get a consensus and they tell us how long. But it's like out of respect for the constituents that did wait and you got your 3 minutes, you should allot that to the public as well.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so many little missteps that become the big things overall. And it's just hard to continue giving the benefit of the doubt and having any respect for the way that business is being conducted at this point.
Yeah, and look, I get it that emotions are high. This is
Of
something
course.
else. This is something else that I wanted to hit on now that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Is like, if you're gonna cry, you shouldn't be at the helm. You shouldn't be a leader. Like, I'm sorry, but like sitting up there on the dais and crying and bawling and it like explaining yourself, it's like, I get it. It happens.
Right.
But it's not like she was crying because somebody had passed some crazy thing. She was crying because she felt deep embarrassment on the failure of the decision that she made. And she was crying partly, in my opinion, because of how hard she has gone at Jen and Joseph Komrosky. And now she's it was
catching up.
embarrassment. It was embarrassment that she was feeling. It wasn't like great grief. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like
It didn't feel like remorse either.
Yeah, I mean, and you can cry and be like, I'm so sorry. But it wasn't that.
wasn't
It was
that.
more like, poor me.
It
I
felt
tried my best.
manipulative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I
And
would
it's
rather
speculation, but-
rather have a leader stand up there and say, hey, we made a mistake. We
Right.
didn't make
It
the right
happens.
decision.
I'm okay
but
with that.
We're behind the right decision now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, and even, oh my goodness, there's actually more to this. Actually, now that my wheels are
turning.
spinning, yeah. Even Dr. Komrosky was like, look, I get it. This isn't like fixing the problem. This is more
It's a
of
Band-Aid.
a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And he's like, but I want to stay here until we sort this out.
Which I was fine with too. We're already there.
Right. Okay. Emil Barham did not hear what he said at all. Emil Barham heard what his perception of Dr. Komrosky would have said. He heard something that Dr. Komrosky didn't even say. Emil Barham heard Dr. Komrosky say, this is just a Band-Aid. We need to just full force, no trans people in the girls' bathrooms.
No.
That's what Emil heard
Yeah.
Dr. Komrosky say.
Yeah.
And then he tried to make him look stupid about it. And Dr. Komrosky was like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you
We
know.
just slow down.
Yeah, but when you're like, if you're like, somebody is like just,
Oh, totally.
just in the red zone and you're
Yes.
talking and they're not listening.
Yeah, all the time.
You know what I mean?
actually.
And it's like,
I'm like,
yeah.
we're having two different conversations,
Yeah,
aren't we?
yeah. It's like this whole thing when we're like, hey,
Yeah.
our daughters actually have privacy and we want their privacy respected. You want trans people to die?
Yeah,
Like that's
like,
like
what?
yeah, that's how
Yes.
this whole thing is going.
Yeah.
And that's what happened there in that moment where
Yeah.
it was like, Emil, you didn't even listen, dude.
Yeah.
You didn't even listen.
It's
you know?
because they're just, none of them are in a place fully, again, this is just my perception, to just even fully receive and retain what is happening. Everything is very impulsive. And again, I think we're listening to respond rather than listening to hear
Right.
and understand.
Right.
And
Right.
we've gotten away from that too. And not just with the trustees on the dais with each other, but even the public. Like, I think they're mishearing the public half the time.
Yeah.
Because their minds are just made up already. You know, and like you said, emotions are way too high.
Yeah.
And again, a lot of it has to do with the fact that we are in international news, and it's embarrassing.
And in regards to this policy, like I also would like to, I know I've said this a bunch and I've said it, but I can't say it enough because the narrative's still being spun. Friggin' Jen Reeves shows up and just sits there for her TikTok content. Poor lady's like 60 years old, dude. She's someone's
she?
dude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure she's like 60.
Oh, wow.
I'm
I
pretty
didn't
sure
know
she's like 60 years old. She's old enough to be someone's grandma.
Oh,
and like
wowzers.
she shows up to our board meeting to spew hate and call regular parents bigots and fascists. And that page, Voices of the Fash. Jen St. Nicholas, like we don't know that's you.
Wow.
Yes, okay.
That
So-
just makes it all the narrative worse.
Well,
if
you know,
that's the
it's funny is
case.
because that lady goes up there and talks like, I'm a caring, loving person. Like, you run Voices of the Fash.
Wow.
You've called everybody a fascist.
Yeah.
Every one of us. You've called us a fascist and a Nazi.
I've been called
and
some things as well. Won't repeat them here, but pretty nasty.
No, that page, and you know what's even hilarious to me is I'm pretty sure that page has posted things making fun of me for being overweight, and it's like, lady, no, you didn't. No, you didn't, dude.
Oh my,
Oh
gosh.
goodness. Holy shit.
I think we need to look inward. We really need to look inward and just take a beat.
God,
That is
I was like,
wild.
damn, this person hates fat people. That's what I was thinking. I'm watching all their clips about them. Damn, this person hates fat people. And then I like realize who it is, and I'm like, oh, this person has a lot of self-hate, obviously. Jesus.
That's typically projection, so I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, okay. But so these people, they show up and their perspective is that we are denying the existence of trans people. No. And the fact that we have adults in the room spinning that narrative, they obviously see trans people and tell them that and stuff like that. And it's like,
people don't come up with that stuff on their own.
That's
not a thing.
But dude, how can you? Why would you tell
Why would you
a
feed
child
that information?
Yeah, why would you make them think that they're hated so
And
much?
less than.
It's because you want them to be a victim. And that's how we got here in our country. Yeah. That's how we got to this point where people think we can use violence to just shut people up. We're a victim, and if you don't agree and side with us, then you need to die. Like, that is where we're at in our country. So when adults continue to push that hateful rhetoric, that one, isn't true, and
Correct.
two, brainwashes a child to look at society as their
lens.
enemy.
It's
Yeah, like
disgusting.
no wonder why we have this generation of youthful people who hate this country.
Yeah, and
we
themselves.
we have a generation of adults who ruined it for all of us, and now they're pushing that narrative.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So it's just, look, this is not about denying the existence of trans people. Nobody is doing that in Temecula.
No, and if they are, we don't subscribe to that.
Yeah. And
You
again,
know?
I'm sure there are people who will say,
but I'm
you
not
know,
aware of
but
them.
again, I don't fuck with people like that.
Me either.
That's not
No,
what I
thank you.
subscribe to.
We've talked about that too.
That's not what
Extreme
it's
on
about.
left and right, no thanks.
Yeah. I'm straight. Like, but here's the thing: is if you have a trans child, you should be telling them that nobody has to subscribe to how they think. You should be telling them that, hey, it is going to be hard out here for you. You will lose friends. If you want to live like
Be
that
honest
because
with
I
them.
love you, I will support you. But a lot of people won't. And you know what? In this country, they don't have to.
Right.
And that is the reality. You know, and again, before anybody puts their panties in a bunch over what I'm saying, is like, I raise my sons like that,
Right.
okay? I explain to my sons, it is different for you than your sister.
Absolutely
okay?
it
The
is.
world doesn't care about your feelings
Yeah.
and what you think and your emotions. You either can or you can't. You will or you won't.
Right.
Men don't look at each other through that lens.
Right.
We just don't.
Right.
The world
You're
is
built
much
differently.
Yes, we are. We're built differently. The world treats men differently.
And you're
Work
teaching
hard.
them healthy coping mechanisms to deal with their
Yes,
emotions. You're not
exactly.
saying suppress them.
And that, yeah.
But don't make it your whole world.
Exactly.
And your whole identity is your feelings.
Exactly. Your
Yeah.
feelings are not your identity,
Right.
dude. And you're going to get bullied. You're going to get laughed at.
Yeah.
You're going to get made fun of.
Right.
You can't let that phase you.
Right.
That is what we should be explaining
Mm-hmm.
to the trans youth. They're accepted, they're loved, but not everybody's going to play along or
Mm-hmm. Right.
see it how they see it.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I deny their existence. That doesn't mean that I want them dead.
Correct.
When there was that one, the one trans boy, am I saying that right? Yeah. The trans boy who spoke at this meeting.
Oh, uh-huh.
There was the one trans person who spoke. And it's so crazy is I saw that person walking out of the meeting at the end, and they were walking out with the two women they were with. And all like the conservatives were outside. We had just finished like taking a photo. So they seemed kind of, and I walked right up to that. I'm trying to remember the name of the person.
Was it Sibby?
Yeah, but I think that's who. I didn't get the last name, but I understood after because my daughter was like, oh, that was one of my substitute teachers.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't even know at the time, but I
Right.
walked right up to him and I said, hey, thank you so much for speaking. I know you and I don't fall on the same side of things, but
Right.
I would never deny your existence, and I
Right.
would actually
They're a
die
human
for
being.
you to be here.
Yes.
So I would give my life, and like I mean that, dude. Like
course.
this whole
It's not an act.
it infuriates me
Mm-hmm.
when people I get it that people have that perspective, but
Mm-hmm.
when people try to categorize me as that, just because it's like, bro, when I went to Afghanistan,
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think to myself like, except for the trans and the gays, like I'm not out here for them. Like I knew exactly,
Americans.
exactly where
Everyone falls under that
yeah,
umbrella.
dude, if you're born in this land and you exercise your freedom of speech, I fuck with you. That's it, period.
Yep.
I don't care what you believe, where you're at. It doesn't matter. I don't even care if I don't agree with you. I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like, no, I used to do that all the time when, Preston. When Preston would show up, I would walk up to Preston and say, hey, Preston, thanks for being here, man. Thanks for giving your perspective. Because it's hard being a young person
Of
and going up in
course.
front of adults and knowing that you're going to have a position that people don't agree with.
Right.
That's hard. We should be encouraging our youth to do
Absolutely.
more of that.
Absolutely.
So it's like, yeah, dude, the whole entire thing, the whole entire argument, this is about girls' privacy.
Correct.
Okay? My daughter, my kids, our children, our world doesn't have to accept the worldview of a demographic.
Correct.
And just because people want to paint them as victims in our culture, that doesn't mean that they get prioritized.
Right.
And like, that is essentially the argument.
Right.
And that is nonsense.
Right.
We don't have to subscribe to your stuff.
Right.
We don't.
Correct.
Okay. It's a courtesy if we do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And at the end of the day, if we have people who are uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
in those spaces, then that needs to be accommodated. And
Absolutely.
here's another thing is I do know people with trans kids.
Mm-hmm.
And even those people will tell me that their child doesn't want to their child doesn't feel comfortable changing in front of boys or girls. And the beautiful thing about this policy is they can fill it out too.
Exactly.
So if you have a trans child, maybe your kid isn't comfortable yet changing and maybe
In any
your
space
kid, in any space
with other kids.
you can fill that out and they will accommodate you specific to you. This is a neutral policy.
Right.
This isn't about denying anything.
Mm-hmm.
It is exclusively about highlighting the importance of respecting each other's privacy.
Absolutely.
Which
That shouldn't be an argument.
it shouldn't be an argument. And
Mm-hmm.
the fact that it's being made into an argument is disgusting. And anybody pushing that narrative, like, I just view you as an enemy of America. I view you as a warmonger. You just want drama. You want
Yeah.
problems.
Yep.
You
and
know?
we've got enough of those here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's mitigate some of that.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. What else?
I want to point out Miss Chai for being pretty much the only professional in the room and having to tell the adults to behave professionally and civilly with each other. I commend her for standing her ground and being a voice for our students. Because it's been missing for a long time. We were just talking about our kids coming and speaking for themselves and from their perspective, and to have a representative for them is fantastic, and I think she's doing a great job. But it's also embarrassing that she has to tell our trustees to act professionally.
Let's put that on real quick.
Someone like to make the motion.
May I
We
make
already
a
did.
statement really quick about this?
My goodness.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and every time. I'm going to get you a little flag to hold up. Sorry.
She needs a gavel.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. I mentioned this at our last meeting, but as the student representative here, I tread very carefully. My words reflect my own views, but I do my absolute best to make sure I'm still representing at least a large portion of the student body. I've been a student in the district for the past 12 years, so I hope you all listen to what I have to say in the same way that you have listened to the other students who have bravely spoken tonight. This amendment was a change that I, along with many other community members, recommended be made to the original religious and mental health accommodation during our last board meeting, and I appreciate that this idea is being considered. This type of accommodation offers the best of both worlds. If a student has concerns about being in a shared facility for any reason, they have the right to their own privacy, which is great. This amendment addresses the concerns of the public on both sides of the argument. I just want to remind this room, including members of this board, that we are here to better the lives and the education of these students, not to push any political agenda. This item has been overly politicized and escalated during our last meeting and this one. We've gone on and on arguing details about gender and biological sex, but this policy is about privacy. I thank Mr. Schwartz for bringing up the change of the language being used because that has incited unnecessary division. We're on the same side. We're all on the side of the students. And if you're not, you're in the wrong place. There's been a lot of disrespect in this room, both within the audience and within the adults sitting beside me. Years ago, I've sat in the audience. I've given public comments in front of the board when I was 14. Now I've been elected to sit here behind the dais. And still, disrespect gets us nowhere. When the community continues to point fingers at one another, we lose sight of the reason we're here. I hope we're able to come together and have productive discussions from this point forward.
I don't know if she was reading from something or not.
I honestly didn't pay attention. She's just so well spoken. But I don't know. Maybe she was. I have no idea. I don't think so.
Chai for president.
Yeah.
I tell you what. She's
amazing, and she's just a kid.
Yeah.
I think she's probably like a junior or senior now. Maybe senior.
She's got it. Yeah, she's probably.
But still,
yeah.
it's just like, wow, there is hope.
I was.
There is
yeah,
hope.
Yeah, I was very impressed.
Yes,
and
absolutely.
again, like I admire. It goes back to what I was just saying. Is like the fact that someone young can stand on business like that. That's the way it's supposed to be done.
Correct.
And she did. She pointed out how embarrassing the adults looked in the room, and yeah, that was pretty fire.
I was like, wow, she's amazing, but also this is embarrassing. Wow, a child had to tell you to behave. Yikes.
So. You want to talk a little bit about the special meeting? You got anything about that?
Let's see.
This was this last Tuesday.
Yes.
This last
on the 17th.
Yeah. So I made it to that meeting as well.
You did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what really bothered me is there was two people there. There was a couple of people there to oppose it. Mm-hmm. One lady I've never seen before, but she looked right at me and went, "Hi!" Like before the meeting, I was like, "Hi!" I'm like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
She's the lady that like got kicked out. She like caused the scene and got kicked out.
Oh, which one was that?
I'll play it for the listeners so they could check it out. She caused the scene and got kicked out, and I actually got some recording. I'll splice the two and so they could check it out.
My beliefs are not like that. My beliefs are that I am a God-fearing patriot, and I love God, family, and country. I want men to be men, stand up men, and do the right thing to protect your families. I want... There you go. You're objectively disturbing the meeting, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, this divisiveness. Thank you for leaving.
You're welcome. You didn't get to kick me out. I kicked myself out.
How mature, huh?
Community, this is the exact divisiveness I am talking about.
But then there are two younger people, and I've seen them before, a boy and a girl. If I had to guess, maybe they're in their 20s, early 20s. I don't know, maybe not. But we do the Pledge of Allegiance, and they're just sitting there. You know what I mean?
They didn't stand.
They don't stand. And I've seen them before, like when we were doing the recall board meetings.
So this was a while ago that they've not showed up.
Yeah,
right?
I haven't seen them since the recall meetings,
Wow.
and they were sitting right in front of me, and they didn't stand then either.
Wow.
Indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Not even standing. Sitting next to Voices of the Fash. So I don't know who those people are, but yeah, that look,
bothers me a lot.
Here's the thing, is you have your right to do that.
Right.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. You know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'm not bothered by it.
It's
you know what I mean?
disrespectful.
A little bit, but also really what it is this. And this is more like, I kind of expect it from the girl sitting there with purple hair, you know what I mean? But it's the dude sitting next to her, because it's like, here's the reality, is that if we were at a fucking Dodgers game, you wouldn't do that.
Of course not.
You wouldn't fucking do that.
No.
If you were in a room with a bunch of men,
Yeah.
you would not fucking do that,
course
because
not.
you know you might be corrected right there on the spot, and you might be embarrassed, and you would be afraid to do that. So the fact that this young man chooses to do that, it's pure weakness. It's following femininity, and it's being done to like virtue signal. Like, nobody will say anything to me here, but you know damn well that you don't purposely stay seated when you're at an event where there are people,
That will
men
hold you accountable.
don't know, that might say something. A man that might smack the fuck out of you.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's just my position. And I said it before. Episodes ago, I brought this up, how it's unfortunate that that's how people act, and then to do it right after, what just happened on top of that, it's just like, that's that shit, man. That's that shit that I don't get.
I don't either as an American.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. The beautiful part of this country is that we can all have any opinion we want. We can say and do whatever we want, but that's not free without consequence. And I think that has also been something that people have been confused by this last week and a half or two. We have freedom to do whatever we want, but we're not free from any consequences. And you're kind of stating that. It's like you will be held accountable at some level or to some degree for being disrespectful. And some people may say that they don't see it that way. That's fine. Again, we're basing these things off of opinion. But as an American, I don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. And then I also got some footage. It's, I don't know. I'm not going to put it on here, but maybe I'll save it for a post where Dr. K was talking about the Charlie Kirk thing, or I think Jen Weiersma was. Somebody was. And they were like snickering and laughing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
And I'm in the back with Melanie and the baby. You know what I mean? So it's like, like you just don't have general respect for anything. You know what I mean?
Like I said earlier, we're losing our humanity.
Yeah,
it's insane.
I mean, it's just disgusting. And like, as much, I don't know, in regards to our country, like as much as like, I'm down with cracking skulls, dude. Like I've apologized in group messages that I'm in because I do, like, if somebody online challenges me to a fight, I accept it, dude.
Right.
Like I am so down with that, and that's not the way to do it.
Right, of course.
And
Violence
like,
shouldn't be the answer, but unfortunately,
it is
happens.
something that I'm very comfortable. I am better in a violent situation than I would be in like a math test, and I'm an engineer, so that's saying something. You know what I mean? Is like my whole point with bringing this up is like, I've been battling with this whole thing, like the Antifa people, and it's like, that's still our youth. It's these 23-year-old kids that feel disenfranchised and hated. And at what point do all Americans, including me, take ownership of their feelings there? You know what I mean? Like the Groyper demographic and Antifa, they have the same hate for our country, just on different sides of the coin.
Yep.
You know, and it's like, I don't want to smash the skull of my little brother, bro. I don't want to do that, you know? And that's like, we got to figure something out just as a country.
Yep.
Our youth feels disenfranchised. I mean, that's...
And why?
Yeah. And why is it that the hateful rhetoric and the negative rhetoric is winning?
Right.
Why is it that the anti-American rhetoric is winning? Why are these kids so comfortable sitting for the national anthem as if they're actually standing for something when there are people, hundreds of thousands of people who've given their life for that, you know? So it's like, what are we doing wrong? What are we teaching? That is the problem. Like and these are all things that I think about where it's like,
how did we get here?
This is the CRT argument. This is what I'm talking about. It's that you're a victim, so you should hate everyone around you. It's that rhetoric has been winning. It's dangerous, but it has been winning.
Yeah.
It has been winning, and we need to find a way to combat that.
Yeah, to neutralize it.
It's
insane.
And if we can avoid violence, that would be ideal.
That's ideal.
You know, but I worry because I don't even know if that's possible at this point, you know?
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Sorry, I went on a tangent.
No, that's okay.
But what else did you have about that meeting?
I think the main thing was just, it was a resolution, right?
Yeah, it was, I don't have that agenda with me. I wrote it down.
I'm getting there.
Amicus briefus? Something like that?
Amicus brief.
Yeah, amicus brief. Yeah.
Yes, it was basically what that means is just writing a formal letter as school board. They're trying to get consensus to write a letter to Sacramento.
The only issue that I have, was it to Sacramento or is it for the like federal case? The Title
I'm
IX
sorry.
Stuff?
It's federal.
Yeah.
My mistake. Federal.
But either way, like I think that the only thing
we talked about that in the last episode as well, which is kind of ironic.
Yeah. Well, you know, Emil stepped down. He like excused himself and like left during the meeting.
That's right. Yeah. Because he wanted to have an open, transparency dialogue regarding closed session about this, but because there was potential litigation, they weren't able to do that.
Yeah. Well, also he was saying that he hasn't even been able to review the brief.
No one's seen the actual amicus brief.
So that's kind of my thing
strange.
too. Is like, you know, you're asking us
to vote on something we haven't seen.
What you present us to look at is the agreement with the legal firm. It's like, no, I want to see the brief that they're going to be presenting.
Out of that whole mess with them anyways.
And here's the thing is like, you know, for all we know, I'm about to, maybe I cut this out. For all we know, the amicus brief can completely deny the right and existence of trans people. For all we know, you know what I mean?
True.
So for all we know, it's like, no, I don't.
I'm not signing up.
Yeah, it's
on
like
that.
I don't feel
wouldn't.
this. This isn't how I feel or how I view the world.
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? So, you know, I think we have to give a lot of grace to those three up there, which I don't really, you know, I don't know, dude. We'll see. We'll see how it all plays out. But yeah, that was my only. And it still bothers me, like thinking about it, is like, why aren't you showing me what it is we're getting behind? Instead, you're giving me
where's the transparency?
Yeah, it's like, you know.
I don't understand it. Why are we picking and choosing? And they voted on something. Don't you need to see it first?
Can you imagine you getting married to a man and then he's like, you don't even know what's going on. He's just like, here, sign this guy that we're going to hire to do the proceedings. You're like, what proceedings? Don't worry about that. Just this guy. Yeah, this guy's going to, you know, it's like, dude, we need transparency. We got to see. So yeah, I don't know. It got passed anyways.
Which is wild to me.
Yeah.
Whether you agree with the law firm or the intent behind it, we didn't see anything. That should bother everyone, regardless on what side of the aisle you're on. We need to see what we're voting on. Can you imagine putting in a ballot and just filling in bubbles and having no clue who you're voting for? That's wild.
Right. And I voted for Dr. K. I like Jen Wiersma. I don't have any personal issues with them, but I'm big on transparency. People were there and they're upset, and you could have provided the document that maybe neutralized the arguments that they had, but you didn't.
Right. And Emil probably wouldn't have excused himself. He would have just voted on it.
Yeah, that's true. So it's just, and again, is this something that they did because it's one of those things where Dr. K and Jen Wiersma are like, well, we were gate kept out of everything, so they don't need to see it either. You know what I mean? Is this like one of those things? I don't know.
I'm not for the tit for tat thing either. Let's stop.
Yeah. Let's just,
and again, this whole damage control narrative. Everyone is just trying to contain a fire that has already spread.
Yeah.
There's no containing it. There's no fixing it. All we can do is move forward.
Yeah. Yep. So I don't know, guys. That's what's been going on in Temecula. A lot of craziness, a lot of hecticness. I hopefully we do get to see the amicus brief and what it is that it specifically says.
Yep.
And I don't know. We'll see what comes out in October, I guess.
We never know what we're going to get until it comes. So everyone's guess is as good as ours until we get there.
Yeah. All right, dude. That's all I got. You got anything?
No.
Nah. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for tuning in again. God bless, and we'll see you later.